Welcome to the latest episode of CFL Weekly Show on 13th Man Football. It's Shane alongside Cole, Blake, and Coach Phil as always. Man, what a first week of CFL football. Um, Cole and Blake, you guys got off to hot starts on our weekly pick'em. Uh, Coach had a good week. I had a horrible week. Um, Shows you the tale of two halves though, because in three of those games could have gone either way heading into halftime, but we'll dive into it shortly. How are you guys doing this week? How have you been? How did you guys find the first week of CFL football?
Well, first of all, Shane, I think we should all give ourselves a pat on the back because I think this is the first time all year where we've all four of us have been together, and
True, that is
it's
true.
it's still not going to be for the full show just yet, but we are together, the four of us. I was feeling pretty good after that first week. I mean, the Lions got a W. Wasn't exactly pretty in the first half. I think I inadvertently, as mine and Cole's good friend Jordan Savage put it, I may have inadvertently created the Lions meme of the year already in week one. But yeah, no, it was good. Snoop kind of exceeded my expectations, which I admitted to you guys when it was announced. I admitted like last week that they weren't super high, but I thought he did a good show. And overall, week one was pretty fun. I was able to either watch the highlights or watch bits and pieces of all four of the games.
Yeah, week one was good. I'm glad that Shane mentioned it before myself because I was definitely coming in hot. That the boy 4-0 to start the season. We're gonna try to keep it as hot as possible. I know Blake is as well, but it's a good start to the year, fellas. 4-0. We're hoping that I don't jinx myself and I come on here next week looking like a real dummy because that would really
Oh, and
suck.
four.
Oh, and four. Let's do it.
We're gonna keep the trade headed in the right direction. It was a good week one, of course. As Blake said, we were both in the house. Blake had a fabulous little sighting on TV. I love that. It was a big mood at the time of the game, especially of a lot of what the hell are the Lions doing, especially with like a lot of self kind of hurting themselves in a lot of instances. So that was really funny when Blake got posted on Twitter as well. And then, of course, the Lions ended up pulling away in the second half. So all things were good considering. Unfortunately, Shane, I did have to break my rule once again and leave the game early, but that's due to travel. And that's just the way things go. Other than that, things were great for week one.
So disappointed.
Oh my. Week one was good. I said every game was good. It was kind of hard to try and watch the games because CFL Plus ain't in our region all the time, but got to see the highlights, got to see the games. I found some sneaky ways to watch, and every game was entertaining, even the ones that were an ass whooping. Gary Peters commented, said that
You did.
I was,
Get him,
yeah, that
coach.
was funny. That
Yeah.
was funny. That was funny. I give it to Gary. I'll give it to him on that. I did pick Edmonton, but other than that, good first week of football. I enjoyed it.
Coach got them sneaky links.
Hey,
Gotta be careful with that. I don't want to get him in trouble.
hey,
Yeah, I mean it was a great week. Started off strong. I mean that Ottawa uh, Saskatchewan game was a lot of fun to watch. Well, from an outsider's perspective, it was probably a lot of fun to watch. From a Red Blacks perspective, it was infuriating to watch how badly that defense got carved up for like 2.5 quarters or 2 1/3 quarters, and then being able to put up, what I think they put up like almost 17 points in the last 15 minutes of the game. Very, very frustrating from a Red Blacks perspective. But coach, you must have been loving it.
hmm I
hmm
wasn't. I wasn't. The funny thing was, it was a sloppy game on both sides. To me, honestly, I think from the writer's perspective, like it could have been better. It could have been more of a blowout, but they just. Oh, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it.
All them
Oh man,
injuries.
That's killing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Ottawa lost today for the entire year with an elbow injury. That was announced today that he's done for the year, and then obviously Drew Brown's not starting Friday against Montreal. Um,
Yeah, Edmonton lost Noah Curtis, I believe, for the year.
yeah,
His knee.
yeah, but that happened like in the preseason. It happened during like the Fan Fest for Edmonton, didn't it?
I just saw it like literally 20 minutes ago, so I don't know when it happened, but
I think that might have been during, like, he suffered the injury and then got confirmed that he's out for the year with a torn ACL. But yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into the first game. Cole, what were your thoughts on the Ottawa Saskatchewan game?
It was, as you said, from outsider's perspective, it was a pretty good game. As we were kind of going back and forth a little bit in our little group chat, I was kind of hoping for a nice photo finish to end the game. Although Coach, I know, was kind of confident the Riders were going to be able to do their thing, keep that lead, and finish strong, which they were able to. So it was an exciting game for, honestly, as you guys kind of both alluded to from both your guys' perspective, being fans of Ottawa and Saskatchewan. A little bit of a sloppier game in terms of maybe some of the tackling and penalties and stuff like that, but I think kind of just comes with the territory of week number one, and hopefully they can kind of continue to work out the kinks and get smoother and smoother as we get going along into the season. But kind of a little bit what I expected of Saskatchewan to win. And kind of why I picked them. But I'm still a believer in Ottawa. I think Ottawa's going to still be able to be a playoff contender in the East, and who knows what happens once you get in the playoffs. It's kind of all about getting your ticket to the dance, and who knows what could happen come playoff time. So I think as long as Drew Brown's able to come back, I know he kind of got what looked to be a knee in the back, which is not an easy thing to deal with as a quarterback as well. I'm sure at the time when he's able to go back in there, it's a lot of adrenaline that's kind of taken over, and I'm sure the next morning he felt like he probably got booted in the ass pretty hard. So um, Ottawa, like I said, I'm still a believer in Ottawa, and I feel like as long as Drew Brown's able to come back and look the way that he did, 400 yards, I believe, passing, still leading the CFL. So still high on Ottawa, and interested to see how they're going to continue the rest of the year. And Saskatchewan kind of looked as I thought they were, and interested to see how they kind of continue to go throughout the season. But Blake, what were your thoughts, bud?
yeah, I mean, like I watched the entire first half of that game and about half of the third quarter. And after that first drive, I was like, man, like this Saskatchewan defense, like this is the team that's supposed to be like top of the West. And like all four of us kind of were somewhat on that bandwagon. They got carved up on that first drive, ended up being like almost 6 minutes, capped off with the Dustin Crum touchdown, which drives me nuts, more so from a fantasy perspective than anything else. But like when the quarterback drives them all the way down the field, and then it's the backup quarterback that punches it in from the 1 yard line. But yeah, the Red Blacks were able to take that 7-0 lead. They had
Says the
that.
guy who has Dietrich Mills starting in fantasy, I believe.
Yeah, I did. but
Complaining about touchdowns, the guy had 3.
but yeah, no, it was a good game. The Riders turned it around after that point. I mean, till the end of the first quarter, it was kind of bit back and forth. I know they had that botched kick with the new holder as well, but in the second and third quarter, I thought the Riders really took over the game, and then the Red Blacks shown that they can't be left for dead in that game or at all during this season, because they made a comeback and they had the ball late with a chance to potentially win it before, unfortunately, Drew Brown took a sack that, while it was technically on second down, pretty much ended the game because they decided to go for the vaunted screen pass on 3rd and 27, and as most times, it didn't work.
Yeah, very, very frustrating. Coach, what's your thoughts? I know you got a lot to say.
It wasn't a perfect game. I think there was a lot of things the Riders could have done better, especially big plays. I think that's something the last 3 years we've really lacked is big playability. I mean, yeah, Sam had a good game. He put up big numbers, but there's got to be more than just him doing that. AJ getting hurt. We got the injuries going on. It's not. It wasn't the best performance. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, we're world beaters right now, but there's obviously room to get better. The Red Blacks, I had so much high hopes coming out the gate for them as far as like all the weapons they've got on offense. They got to find something. I mean, and especially with Gino, not just sending him on go balls. I want him to do more. I want them to open up his route tree. Uh, Justin Hardy, Braylon Addison, William Stanback. I wanted more from them. I knew the secondary was going to be a little shaky for the Red Blacks, but you just got to close the game out earlier. 26 was it 26 to 31? That's too close for me. Bury him. You got to bury your opponent, and these injuries are going to be the death of us. I swear to God.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but also like Ottawa's defense took up 3 turnovers, and Ottawa's offense couldn't like it could have been 14-0 before like the 7-minute mark or the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. So it could have gone either way early, and this is where I think Ottawa's offense really dropped the ball, because as bad as the defense played, because they played horrendous from like that last drive of the first quarter to basically the start of the fourth quarter, they played horrible. Like Trevor Harris was carving them up, basically that Rough Riders offense was getting whatever they wanted at will for the most part. And if you after that Adrian Fry first fumble, if you go in and get a touchdown there, it's 14-0. The entire dynamic of the game changes from that point on. But you don't. You think they go 2-0. Saskatchewan comes back, drives, gets a touchdown, then gets another 2-0. All the momentum goes away from you. So as bad as the Ottawa defense played, the offense played just as worse for just as long of a stretch, and honestly kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, but both offenses have this thing where they're just the consistency, being consistent, having consistent drives where they punch it in, or even I can take a field goal. I can take a field goal and put 3 points on the board. As long as you don't want to have drives where you get nothing at all. And even they talk about field position, the punt game, but I still think with the power, the firepower both offenses have, you need to get points. I'll give it to Ottawa. They should have been up. They should have been up way more. But hey, it's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you have to get points, right? If Ottawa gets at least 3, gets a field goal on all those turnovers, that's 9 points right there for you. But I think also Alford had a huge game, being able to flip the field constantly, force Saskatchewan, take any momentum Ottawa might have had by big gains, like took the Lewis Ward field goal miss back. I think it was like 60 yards or something like that, close to. They brought him right back to where Lewis basically kicked the ball. So I think like plays like that, Saskatchewan just was the better team. Like they deserved to win. They played better for 3 quarters. I'm disappointed because it seemed like Ottawa had, you had the botched field goal. It just seemed like everything was going Ottawa's way. And then there was a little bit of momentum switch, and Saskatchewan with Trevor Harris being able to just kind of pick apart that zone defense and those quick passes was able to generate enough offense to get the win. Blake, Cole, you got anything to add before we hop over to the next game?
Nothing too crazy. I mean, no. Friday Night Football.
Friday Night Football.
What do you guys think of the player intro?
I didn't actually see it yet. I haven't seen it yet, but
I missed it. I was at work.
TSN, I believe, Twitter page, I believe, posted. I'll send it in the group after.
I didn't like the AI.
I thought it was like slightly corny, but like a great idea. Like a great idea, and I think it was good, but I was kind of like slightly a little bit like, ugh. Like I feel
Are
like
we talking about the song, like the Friday Night Football song?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, what do you think?
I thought it was funny. I mean, they're taking a page of the NFL book. Those guys can't sing, so it's hard on the ears, but I think it shows a little bit of personality on the players and
it just
gives a little bit more fun. So I'm not going to hate on it.
For sure. That's not what I'm trying to do either. It's just like I kind of thought it was like I was like, oh, little corny.
The AI stuff. I think we have to talk about that quickly. That the AI of like Dinwiddie and Moss that they did.
The players one that you posted too was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You need to be creative. You need to find ways to integrate that stuff. But it looks so out of place.
Yeah, it didn't
like it looked like they forced it too much.
Yeah,
way too much.
But I guess that's gonna happen too, right? Like you're gonna strike out sometimes. Shoot or shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather them strike out than not do anything at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that.
At least
I think my issue with the AI was that like they were on like podiums and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I didn't see the reason for it. Like you had shots on the sideline, like that you might have, like, why didn't you integrate those into it? I don't understand why they weren't like basically on a podium giving a speech. It just seemed like it was an odd placement.
And it sounded like everybody kind of liked the scoring graphic too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the scoring graphic, I really liked that.
The new the score bug.
Yeah, it looked like
Yeah.
what they showed on the Super Bowl for Fox.
It's just nice and like simple. It's a nice simple. They didn't try to like go too hard. They just simple. It was nice.
Yeah, I think the one complaint was the time with like the play clock versus the score clock, where people
Yeah, it
people
wasn't synced
about,
up.
like, they didn't know which one was which I don't really understand how you have one that like a big one that's white and then a small one that's red. I don't know how you don't know which one's which. They haven't
One's also 20 seconds every play, and the other one's like 9 minutes. But
but like I don't know. That was like I think the only complaint that I saw about the score bug at all was the not being able to tell what time was what. But I'd say that I think they did really well.
Yeah. It was a step in the right direction, right? At least they did it.
Yeah, did you guys see what the head one of the TSN guys said about it?
no.
One of the head like TSN producers was basically like, the AI didn't go as well as we liked, but they're making more changes to the CFL graphic. So like they wanted to focus on Friday Night Football, make Friday Night Football a thing, and like kind of make it a focus and its own identity. And then they're going to work on Thursday and Saturday Night Football as like making more of its own identity for those ones once they get the Friday Night Football stuff. So I don't know if it's going to be this year or in future years, but there is a plan to revamp all of the CFL graphics and like
Wendy's Kick for a Million coming back too.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah, at least give us something in the East because like Safeway's
no. Put it in the West. Let me do it. I would win.
Well, no, I'm just saying like do it across Canada, but like Safeway is only in like the Safeway Kick for a Million is only in the West, like Western Canada. Like it's not in Eastern Canada. So like anyone I think east of Winnipeg can enter, like doesn't have a chance to win.
Damn.
That makes sense though, because it's like I always see like it's like in Ottawa and like Ottawa and Montreal who are playing this week. I'll just use them as an example. It's like Ottawa and Montreal, and then someone scores a touchdown, and it's someone from Prince George that wins. And I'm like, how does that make any sense?
Because it's only available, and which is weird because like pretty sure Safeway is owned by Sobeys, and there's Sobeys like in Eastern Canada. So I don't know why you can't just integrate it. I know there's probably like reasons for it, but give us something in the East that we can do, and like, especially if you're trying to grow Montreal and Toronto, you would think that like having some sort of contest would be a good idea. But I agree, bring back the Wendy's Kick for a Million.
Montreal needs a poutine contest.
Its own thing with like RDS or something.
Yeah.
Is this how we get back on track to Montreal and Toronto?
I guess so. Coach, have you seen the legendary Wendy's Kick for a Million video?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen it?
That's a CFL. That's a legend.
Yeah, you have to go. You have to find it and watch it.
You might have to react to it. You could probably react to it on Twitch. It'll probably be a good video.
I'm gonna have to do that.
2012,
look
right?
it up.
Was it the 2012 Grey Cup?
Okay, what is it? What
no,
exactly
it
is
wasn't. It wasn't Grey Cup. It was like just a regular season game.
But was it 2012?
I think so, yeah. Because
So
they were
it's like
still at Rogers Center.
Yeah. So it's 2012 Wendy's Kick for a Million. I'm pretty sure you had to kick it from like the 50-yard line or something.
Yeah.
And if you got it through, you got $1 million. And this guy who is like this overweight
Coach,
white.
I'm telling you, you could probably go react to it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to react to it. The most unathletic guy that you would think would get away with it does it, and he does it with ease.
He made it.
He cleared it by like almost 10 yards.
Yeah.
Oh my! I'm gonna check this out.
I think he got a contract out of that too. It never went anywhere, but like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got offered a contract.
Yeah, because this guy
No
did
fucking
it.
way.
If it wasn't for YouTube's video, like restrictions, I'd probably pull it up and put it on here.
That's if you know for sure.
I'm gonna check it out.
Definitely a CFL
If you know,
legend
you know.
moment. It's like that with the Montreal Toronto game in like I think 2013 or 2014, where they were just kicking it back and forth at the end of the game because they were
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Montreal was like up by like 1 point, and
No,
Toronto
it's
ended up.
tied.
Oh yeah, it was tied, and yeah, they just kicked it back and forth, but and it ended up with being a touchdown. So also another great Canadian moment.
I'll check
What
that
were
out.
your guys' thoughts though on Friday Night Football?
Overall, I mean, I was at work, so I missed most of it. But from what I saw, it was great. I'm not sure how I feel about Luke Wilson on the sideline. Excluding what happened on X. I don't know. I feel like the personality just, at least for the first week, just kind of seemed dry and like, I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of him on the sideline.
He was talking big shit on Twitter when he first started coming around, and then you get on TV and you start acting all shy and shit.
No, Coach, you missed it. Go
was
check
talking
out his
shit today.
feed from today.
Yeah,
How you gonna talk to?
Even
Talking shit.
I fell into the
he
trap,
called out
Coach.
he called
I
out
I
know
Doug.
fell
you
into
should.
the trap.
I had to bite my tongue so hard on it because he did the worst fans of the week.
Yeah. And
No,
he had Darcy.
no. He did worst and best fan.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like him as your sideline reporter, you need to have a little bit, and maybe it's just because we're going from really personality, like even like say what you want, but like not having Dunnigan, not having Stiegel right now, like there's a lot of personality missing on that panel. And I feel like when you have someone that's kind of dry or like dry humor on the sideline, it just I don't know, it feels boring. Like the panel and when it's just meh. My opinion on Friday Night Football. Him on the sideline with the panel, they weren't as much fun.
I thought the panel was definitely meh, but I personally like Luke for the CFL. I think he does good stuff, kind of creating conversation. But on the field, I thought the game was nice, man. Like Montreal, I was excited to see Montreal again because I think they're best team in the CFL on paper, on the field. And then Toronto, I feel like maybe one of the lone haters right now in Toronto. Even Coach picked the frickin' Argos last week, unbelievably. So like I don't know, I just don't believe in the Argos right now. I feel like
Nick
especially without
Arbuckle
Chad
and
Kelly.
Nick Arbuckle.
Chad Kelly's gonna be back this week though.
Yeah,
Supposedly he didn't.
I don't
Supposedly he
think
didn't play last week because of an ingrown toenail.
Damn.
he was running with the three. He was running with the threes last time I
Yeah.
saw
Was he?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
according to Shinetti this morning, he was repping he wasn't even repping the threes.
he was
He
in
was just-
uniform.
He was in
yeah.
uniform. To be fair though, if I don't know if you guys have ever had an ingrown toenail, those things can do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like
They can be. I'm not hating on the injury. I'm just saying like I'm just not a big fan of Nick Arbuckle. Like I think we all agree.
No,
Wynton
Nick
McManus
Arbuckle was like
probably should have been MOP. Arguably, Willie Jefferson should have been MOP of the Grey Cup. They gave it to the quarterback because he's the quarterback. So
yeah, but
Toronto-
Nick Arbuckle did what he does in that game. He game managed. Like it's not like he won the Argos that game.
No, that defense won them that game.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's no hate on Dinwiddie. I really feel like Coach Dinwiddie is a great coach in the CFL, but like they got ravaged in the offseason, and I feel like doing it again is just not feasible as everybody thinks that because they did it before, they can just flip the switch again and reload on the fly.
Well, they're going to do what they
I think they're going to be able to like turn around and be competitive again next season, but I just think like this year's kind of like the step back, and you know they continue to move forward with Dinwiddie. Like I said, I think Dinwiddie's a good coach, one of the best in the CFL for sure. And especially an offensive mind like that, like I think they'll have success, continuing to have success. But I just don't think this year's the year. I think Ottawa and Montreal are better teams, personally.
Yeah, I think like when you lose like 9 or 8 of your starters from the Grey Cup, it's going to be hard to become a competitive team the year after. No matter who you bring in, trying to replace that is just almost impossible.
And like their strength offensively. Sorry, Coach, before you go. Was like their offensive line, and their offensive line kind of got like shit kicked on Friday. Like the wall Uguak was all over Isaac Ademi Berglund. Like Ryan Hunter kind of got spun a few times, which he kind of looked a little bit like a step behind in week one. Obviously, the last year is mostly sending offensive linemen. So like their strength offensively was that line, and they lost a little bit. Like I feel like a few guys offensively, that are kind of new faces in the interior there. So like their defensive line was absolutely ravaged, and their offensive line, the strength of their team, I feel like kind of took a hit. That's my kind of biggest reasoning as well behind why I think Toronto's going to take a step back this year.
I mean, I from the person that picked Toronto, I was expecting more from the defense. I was expecting them to be aggressive. I was expecting them to make plays. I was expecting them to not necessarily have a repeat of the performance they put up in the Grey Cup, but I was expecting them to be a little more competitive. Now I had Sean Lemon in me and him were talking. I know taboo name to say, but we're chopping up and he was telling me, why would I pick Toronto? I'm like, because I was expecting more out of them in offense. They were stalling everywhere. Like every single drive, it was stop, go. They get a little momentum, they have one big play and then they'll get stuck. And it was weird. But it's funny, like Cole, you mentioned it, like they got ravaged in the offseason. But we remember when they won the Grey Cup, they got ravaged the next offseason when they lost to Darius Pickett, they lost Coach Mays, they lost a bunch of pieces that made them, even though they didn't win the Grey Cup that season, it still does something to your team. So I'm not gonna be on the outs of Toronto just yet, but chemistry's got to be built a little more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, Shane. No, I was just gonna say, like, I would agree with that, but like we're talking about the Argos a lot in this game, and let's not forget that like the Alouettes are a really good team. Like they're 1 year removed from winning the Grey Cup. They were the East's best team last year, and you could argue that they defeated themselves in that Eastern final as much as the Argos defeated them last year, and they got better in the offseason. Like they didn't have a healthy Tyson Philpott all of last year, or half last year, pardon me. They have a healthy Tyson Philpott now. They have a pretty much healthy defense, and they have a young quarterback who has a bit of a chip on his shoulder because all he did when he came in last year was go 4-0. But unfortunately, because he wasn't the team starter, he lost his starting job. So he wants to prove that he is one of the best young quarterbacks in the league, if not one of the best overall quarterbacks in the league. And I think the Alouettes and that receiving core and that running core proved something on Friday night that there might be one or two, like a lot of people are picking them to potentially win the East. But if there's anyone that's overlooking them, that's saying, hey, the Argos are still there. Hey, the Red Blacks are still there. The Alouettes are like, no, this is a 3-team race at worst.
We gotta give credit also to Davis on controlling that game. Control for that offense, man. He didn't look shaken. He didn't look waver. He just played his game. So hats off to Davis Alexander for starting that game and his first big start and making things happen for that offense. That offense was food.
Yeah,
and could have had a bigger game too. Sorry, Shane. Like he missed Tyson twice. One the deep post down the middle, were like just inches in front of Tyson, and then I believe there was another go ball in the end zone that was just overthrown as well. So it's like could have had a bigger day as well for Davis in his first start.
And I mean, it could also been worse for Davis, right? Because he went down with that knee injury.
Oh,
I think in the second or third quarter, and it did not look pretty at first.
no.
Like seeing him on the ground, I thought he was like that was season done.
Torn ACL, yeah.
So, like, grateful that it's not. Obviously, you don't want to see anyone go down with a serious injury at any point of the year, especially this early. But talk about the highs and lows of a game right then and there. Right, you get the highs of you're doing really well, you're producing, your team's winning, and then the low of like, oh my god, is my season over? Because like he looked like he was in serious pain on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he got up and was able to kind of walk it off to some capacity is surprising.
I thought he was done for sure. I thought MVT was coming in.
I think everyone else did too. Because like he
Like
was
you said,
in
this is the reaction
serious
like on the
pain.
ground. Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think this is also. I think Toronto. Say what you want. This is where you miss Carey. Having that veteran experience in the back, like in the backfield. I think if he's in, I don't know if they win per se, but I think it's a bigger difference. It makes it more of a game. Like he is a game changer. You get the ball in his hands, he will make plays. He will produce and get the offense a chance to put up points. And I don't know. I feel like when you cut a guy like that, you hurt your team more than you help. No matter what you tell yourself, at the end of the day, you're taking away a lot of skill there. And I think you saw it, especially with Nick Arbuckle at quarterback. But I don't know. I think Montreal though is the team to beat in the East.
I would agree.
Like if Davis Alexander and everyone stays healthy, they should be the team in the East.
17-1 new CFL record.
Fuck. Here we go.
There's going to be some collusion and conspiracy talks about that record. I mean, okay, also one thing I want to talk about before we move on to the Hamilton game, because I feel like we have a lot to talk about the Hamilton game.
Do we have to? Do we have to?
We have to.
Yes, we have to.
Fuck.
Can we talk about the officiating so far this season real quick before we jump into the Hamilton game? I feel like the officiating has been a vocal point in week one for good and bad reasons. I feel like we need to talk about it before we jump into any more games real quick.
BC's been the least penalized team. Well, BC was the least penalized team last week, so I really didn't kind of notice it, to be completely honest, of like anything bad or egregious. So I got a thumbs up for the officials right now. I know Blake's a referee, so he's probably thumbs up for the officials as well, especially because I know I gotta say this because at flag football, like after you play, sometimes you have to ref or you have to kind of take turns reffing, and like you always get yelled at a bit, like because like I don't know, everyone gets competitive, even though it's men's flag football. So like I always try to just stay on the good side of the referees, especially if they're not calling anything bad against my team. So they're in the good books through week one.
For now.
Yeah, for now. See, so the reason why I
ask us again after tomorrow.
The reason why I bring it up is that I feel like this year, compared to last year, the refs seem more willing to keep the flag in their pocket when it comes to like holding penalties. Like,
oh my gosh. I saw so many, like literally every snap. And I know we say that like all the time, but every snap almost, you could have called either an offside or a holding penalty.
Yeah, and like I'm not going to make excuses, but there were plenty of times where like Saskatchewan was driving, it happened to Ottawa too, where like there was a blatant hold and nothing was called. And like I'm fine if this is going to be the standard where you're just going to let them play more and like you're not going to throw the flag. But I just want to make sure I'm not crazy and I'm not the only one who's noticed the fact that like refs seem to have kept their flag in their pocket from like the back judge, especially during the first week of the regular season.
How many penalties do you think were had last week?
Well, I saw the stat.
Did you have like 3 or something?
No. Like, it wasn't at 84.
It was 58. Shout out to the CFL Stats Geek Instagram account.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw that chart.
Ottawa.
I thought you were talking about like just the BC game. I didn't realize you were talking about like the entire CFL.
No. Ottawa had 12 for 126 yards.
Yeah.
And led the CFL, like I said. So that's Shane's kind of on the other side of the spectrum. Where,
to be fair, Ottawa's penalties were penalties, so I'm not even going to argue that. Like they were penalties
for sure.
Like especially and two of them were unsportsmanlike penalties. The only one that I disagree with was the Bryce Carter hit to the head, unnecessary roughness or like unsportsmanlike conduct, whatever the penalty was. Where like Bryce Carter like lightly tapped him in the face mask. That's the only one where I had an issue with, but everything else.
That's ticky tack.
There is one that I had a problem with as well, and it didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of the game. But Cole, you can help me out. Who's that DB that laid out the Elks receiver
Oh yeah,
cleanly?
Yeah.
And he
Deontay
got
Williams.
flagged for it.
Oh, brutal.
It was
To be
shoulder.
fair-
It was his helmet led to the guy's shoulder.
This is where I think people have issues with
It was the
tackling.
head whip.
It was the head whipping back. In my opinion, if he wraps up instead of just putting his shoulder into the guy, it's not.
But if he wraps up, it's not as big of a hit. That's
it doesn't matter because it's a penalty. So,
that was massive.
I hate that. I hate
agree.
it.
I personally think command center should have.
You hate
called
the
down
hit
like
or
a
the
spotted-
flag?
No, I just, as a defensive guy, I just hate when guys give up technique, try to go for the big blow. That's my only thing.
Thank you.
That's like
Thank
it's
you.
just, bro. Like, okay, you want to lay the hat, but at what cost?
Yeah, because
It
if you miss,
irritates
that
me.
guy's going to the crib.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it all depends in situations, but damn, just don't give up your technique to try to lay the hat. There's times to lay the hat, and there's times to just play football. Just play football, man.
I also think they talked about it in the broadcast. It was partially Trey's kind of fault too, as well. Like he led his receivers twice. The Mathis one where he overthrew Mathis and got him head over tea kettle, and then that over route, whether he should have sat down or not. I don't know if it was Mathis that got lit up again or not. I feel it was 81.
I don't think it was.
But whether the receiver should have sat instead of continuing to the defensive back, or Trey just threw him into the hit, like you kind of have to protect your receivers. Well, I'm glad they've touched on the broadcast, but I'm glad you mentioned that, Blake. I kind of forgot it was a penalty, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, again, you have that head whip motion, it's going to be a penalty like every time,
especially at full speed too.
Yeah.
But this is what the command center should have come.
I was gonna say that's why they have the command center that can reverse penalties.
Yeah, like it's not a penalty. It was a clean hit. It was shoulder to chest. Like he didn't lead with his helmet. He didn't lead with the crown. Like it was a clean shoulder to chest hit that just caused excessive whiplash.
But they gonna call that because he sold it so well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't know if he sold it. I feel like he got rocked pretty hard. I feel like that head movement was legit.
There was a little bit. There was a little bit of just like.
I don't think he came in. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna whip my head back and like look like I'm."
Hey, bro. Receivers will do anything to get a call.
Yeah, but I don't think this is it. I mean, I truly think this literally just got his socks knocked off of him, and his head tried to detach from his body.
It'd be like that sometimes.
The sound that the Lions posted, the like 3 videos clips or whatever.
Oh, that was some
plastic just like colliding. I love that sound. That's like one of my just like ASMR just.
Yeah, but again, you wrap up, it's probably not a penalty.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Ottawa can use some of that lessons of wrapping up, but we're past that. That's
can we quickly move on to the last 2 games?
Yeah, Hamilton and Calgary. I'm just gonna straight out say VA played like garbage for like most of the game.
He did.
Special teams won them that game. That last play near the end of the second half,
and Diedrich Mills,
or first half, and then the play to start the second half was the difference maker in this game.
What was Hamilton thinking on that play at the end of the second half? Like it looked like the punter is Constantinos, right?
Yeah, I thought
it looked like they wanted to run a fake, and then he stuttered, realized he couldn't punt, and then still tried to run the fake. And it's like, what are you doing?
I thought it was just the guy broke free, and he pulled it down to try not getting a block, but ran to the wrong side, so he ran against his kicking leg versus running. Because like most punters will run where their kicking leg, they can run into a kick. It looked like he ran opposite of
it. But
I didn't get to.
And then that's on Hamilton's. Sorry, Cole. Before you go, that's on Hamilton's special teams just not knowing the rules to start the second half.
That was so bush league. Like, how do you man? I feel like most camps nowadays, like you get these rules hammered into you throughout camp. Like, how do you not know it's a live ball is beyond me. But go ahead, Cole.
I didn't watch much of this game though, but I want to hear like VA. I only really saw the interception that he threw to Stav.
He threw 2 in
He
like
did-
5 minutes.
Yeah, he did not play great. I think
He
Like,
finished with 1 tutty and like 250 yards or something.
he finished with 284 and 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Dietrich Mills and special teams.
Yeah, basically. And, I mean, it's a 3-facet game,
And the
right?
fact
that's
that
what-
the fact that the 4 of us do know what we're talking about sometimes, and Hamilton can't outscore their problems again.
But it wasn't even the defense that played bad. The
Shane
defense
Hamilton,
played well.
though.
The defense played well. The difference in this game was the special teams shitting the bed. They lost by 12.
Those
Literally the
14
special teams.
points were the difference in the game.
Yeah, but like defense played great for most of it. Like again, you end up in your back quarter twice to end the second quarter and start the second half. Like when you put your defense in those situations, you're going to lose 9 times, like more often than not, unless you have Bryce as your quarterback. But I don't know. I feel like Hamilton's defense actually played well enough to win, and Bo Levi and the offense played well enough to win. But their special teams, outside of the return, because they had returned for a touchdown.
Yeah,
Their special teams let them down. Like it just I agree, you can't score your problems, but now your problems are special teams, not defense, and that's a completely different set of problems to have.
But that's why we always say, and I always bring it up, you got to win all 3 facets of the game. You have it can't just be offense and defense, and then all of a sudden special teams fucks it up for you. No, everybody got to do their job well enough for us to win a game. Special teams didn't do that.
Well,
I could sit here and say a bunch of shit about Hamilton, but they held their own. I'm not really impressed with their run game. I'm not really impressed with little things, ticky tack things.
Hey, I enjoyed their running game very much. James Butler scored a touchdown.
The fuck are you talking?
What are we talking about here?
You look good in the orange
James
and black.
Butler's in BC now.
I know that.
That's the
We're still
joke.
talking about him.
Shut
That's
up.
the joke.
Shut up.
Bad joke. That's a
I
bad
got you,
joke.
Blake. I got you, Blake.
I'm picking up now. I'm picking up what you're putting down now, but I'm saying there was so much hype, and I hate that I'm gonna give him any type of recognition. But Ty Cat's network was saying, "Oh, Bell's gonna be dominant after how he did at the end of the last season." And I don't even know if he's even playing. Like,
Bro, Bell was typing up his own, like hooting his own
He
tour
had
during the
8
offseason.
carries for 14 yards.
but they was hyping him up, old boy
Sure,
up.
that
Like,
offensive line was garbage too. They just straight up, like, that offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, he finished with like 80 all-purpose yards or whatever because he had.
but that don't
6 or
mean
7.
nothing if you can't run the
No, I
field.
understand that. I'm just saying his
But, like-
rushing stats were 8 carries for 14 yards, less than
And-
2 yards a
Right.
carry.
But also, so I don't know if you guys know Nelson on Twitter, Hakowick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if I should be saying this. He didn't say not to, but he's doing some stuff behind the scenes, like advanced stats and stuff that I've had the privilege of having access to. But according to his stuff, Bo Levi had the lowest time from snap to throw. He averaged 2.75 seconds for time to throw in the pocket, which comparatively to the leader, which was Trevor Harris, at 3.09 seconds. But again, offensive line was horrible in that regard. But if you were to tell me that Hamilton's special teams was going to lose them this game, I would have laughed. I'd be like, no way. There's no way that's happening. Like, the special teams was good last year. They see it. It's probably the most consistent unit. There's no way they're losing them this game. And lo and behold, they lost in that game. Because you go from a 10-9 score with under a minute left to go in the second half to then being 18-9 heading into halftime. Like it just, I don't know. I feel like if you're Bo Levi, I don't know what more you can do.
I mean, it's all in the details. It's all in the little things that you do as a team. And I think Milanovic forgets sometimes the little things that makes a team successful. That's just me. I'm not a big Milanovic fan,
Nope.
but it's all in the details, y'all. And they fucked up on those.
Side thought, fellas, it just kind of came to mind. Probably just good point to talk about it, maybe, and just give our thoughts and prayers to Ted Gavaya. I know he's just released
Yes.
he's battling cancer, I believe. So unfortunate. I believe Hamilton's GM, right, spent a lot of years in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
loved around the CFL. A lot of good things that were said about him, and just I feel like just sending him his well wishes, and hopefully he can beat the fight.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll head into the last game of the week before Blake heads out. The Edmonton Elks and Trey Ford throw up a doozy in BC as Nathan Work gets the better of them in the second half with 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
I'm just
Go
trying to
ahead, Shane.
say it. How long until we start giving Ford the same treatment that we give almost any other quarterback in this league?
I'd say
I
pretty
think it's
quick. But
Like,
the one thing,
how long of a
I
leash
will
does this
say,
man have?
the one thing I will say about that game is Trey Ford made that one electric play, and that was like, even as a Lions fan, that was pretty cool to see. But Edmonton's special teams lost them that game almost as much as Hamilton's lost them theirs. Like they missed 2
3 field.
field goals and an extra point.
I kind of agree with Shane though, because obviously we've talked about it like a lot on the show last year and stuff like that of like being big Trey Ford's fans, and like the shitty thing for Trey I think is like that it's been talked about a few times this week is like he will do those like spectacular plays, a handful of times a game, but it's like the little things that he just like struggles at so much, and like in terms of beating teams from the pocket. I don't think he can right now. Like, I just don't think that's something that's whether he's been coached to, whether that's to his potential. He's kind of been, that's at his ceiling of him as a pocket passer. I was tweeting throughout the game of like, contain Trey Ford and you win this game, pretty much. Keep him in the pocket, make sure you bottom up and he can't escape up through the pocket, as we saw Nathan Rourke do a few times of getting through the middle of some of those lanes. If you contain him, you got to also make sure that he can't escape up through the middle of the pocket. Contain Trey Ford. There was obviously the few times he hit the play that Blake's talking about when he hit Rankin, when he went right, went all the way back left, threw it over to Rankin. There was another time on second and like medium going towards the stage end zone or to the Elks end zone, and he picked up a first down. That was another one of those plays of like, electric, exciting plays, but it's the little things that I think he struggles at. And I'm honestly, I don't know if I want to say like concerned because I feel like that's kind of feels like an overreaction in week 1, but I'm like genuinely curious if he's actually gonna be like a starting caliber quarterback in the CFL because like kind of Shane said, right? Like every other quarterback gets the criticism within these 3 years. It's now going on 4 years of like we've been giving this guy opportunities. He still kind of continues to show like these rookie moments, especially as a passer. And it's like you're a quarterback. Obviously, like you can get away with some of those things of like, you know, like I wouldn't even kind of compare it to Chris Shevler because I feel like Chris Shevler kind of got an opportunity in the NFL as like an athlete. But like I guess a more better comparison was like Lamar, who came into the NFL as not a polished passer and like developed as a passer, going and like showed true progression as a passer, where Trey just hasn't yet. Like through his little bit of a time, and like it's like I said, I don't want to say concerning because it's only week 1, but like it's kind of like if I was an Elks fan, I would definitely be concerned if I was an Elks fan versus like where I'm more so a fan of the CFL and Trey Ford in itself.
Well, his 2 problems are he can't read his defense. Like if his first read's not there, he's gonna scramble. And that interception that he threw to Halatic was brutal. Like he threw it literally right at his chest. Like anyone on that Lions defense would have caught that.
I I put that on development. I put a lot of you, and I agree with Cole, like Lamar. But Lamar has had the benefit of having offensive coordinators that have played to his strengths. Now, I don't know what they're doing as far as his development, but he still looks like the same quarterback when he came into the league. There really hasn't been a lot of progression, and it worries me because we all know I'm a big Trey Ford fan, as you are, Cole, Shane, Blake. We all believe in Trey. But how much do we put that on the staff and we put that on the organization and put him in a situation to win and be successful as a quarterback? Now, can Trey read a defense? We don't know that. But the play shows that he's not showing he can read the defense efficiently. These are growing pains. This is opportunity for him to get better, but damn, it didn't look pretty. It didn't look pretty at all. So I'm not giving up on him, but damn, they got to do something to help him grow. And we do have to hold him to the same standard as we do other quarterbacks within the league. It's only right. It's only right you do that. That's it.
I mean, you guys have definitely been higher on him than I have. I mean,
We know.
We got into it last year a little bit. But I feel like when a guy puts up, 178 passing yards and his total air yards are at 89 yards, there needs to be a conversation around, is this guy a quarterback? And people can be upset about it. People discredit Nathan Rourke because of the bad 8-game stretch last year, saying that he's not even close to the same quarterback that he was in 2022. And they're already dismissing him. Like, we're dismissing him before the season even started, yet people are propping Ford up on some sort of pedestal for I don't know what reason.
I'll tell you,
conversations need to happen that if Ford can win as a thrower, if you can't win as a passer, if you can't sit him in the pocket or even have him move the pocket, but win you a game throwing the ball, he will not last in the league.
But we get so caught up in the as Cole, I think it was Cole or Blake that said, we get caught up in the spectacular play, the Russell Wilson effect, the Russell Wilson thing, where Russell early in his career would do when I saw the play, it was the same thing Russell Wilson would do, the spin, the whirly dervish shit, and then make a play out of nothing. But Russell can stand in the pocket and throw. He could throw everywhere. Trey, we have yet to see that. So we just can't get caught up in that. Can he play quarterback at a high level and win games for the Elks? The jury is still out.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he, short another stick with getting drafted by Chris Jones and not really getting developed properly his first 3 years in the league compared to, other counterparts. But yeah, I think, Ford heading out of this bye week this week, because he is on a bye this week, how much losing are you going to stand? Right? If he goes 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, and they don't progress, if he isn't progressing and the offense isn't progressing, you can't really continue. And then that's where you have Cody Fajardo. Like, Cody Fajardo has proven more in the CFL than Ford has. And Cody Fajardo spent 5 years as a third-string quarterback doing short yardage before he got his chance in Saskatchewan to show that he could be a quarterback. So I don't know. I feel like, call me, an asshole, call me whatever, call me a downer. Ford should be on the same level as how people view Strevler until proven otherwise. That's just Strevler can't throw, can't win a game throwing the ball. He hasn't proven that, and neither is Ford.
Unless it's play action, Strevler, I don't know. He's still like the same quarterback he's always been. Well, the jury is out till tomorrow, but I don't know. I've never seen it with Chris Strevler.
On that.
Blake, you out of here, buddy?
On that note, I'm gonna hop out. Have a good rest of your show, guys. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, Blake.
Somebody yells at you, Blake. Blake blew another offside. God damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like personally, I don't know. Ford's on the same level as Strevler right now. They're both in you need to prove it as a passer. Because realistically, there's no difference in Ford than there's Dustin Crum. Because both of them can run with the ball. They can make plays with their legs, but both have struggled to show that they can sit in the pocket and throw the ball confidently and consistently and win the game throwing. Like, he hasn't done it.
I think the shitty thing for Ford too is like the excuses kind of unfortunately just have like ran up of like there has been, as you said, like reasons to be like, okay, maybe there is another opportunity for him to like develop. But like you said, of like getting drafted by Chris Jones, being behind guys like Taylor Cornelius, MBT, were like those are valuable, as we talked about like with Lamar comparison, right? Lamar was playing, like getting those lessons by like being in the huddle, stuff
Mhm.
like that. Where it's like trade and get that opportunity, that's not really like that's not something you can use from anymore. It's like kind of on him to take it upon himself to get better as a quarterback, as an individual. And if he is that good, like I feel like those guys kind of thrive with those kind of like, oh, you don't think I'm good enough to be like your guy after you drafted me? I'm gonna take every opportunity to like learn, get better so that when my time comes, you're never gonna go, with another quarterback. And now it's like you get your opportunity and you just don't it's like he wasn't ready. Like he was just kind of waiting without ever putting in the work to like be better. He was just kind of like content with where he was, which is obviously I'm sure he's working very hard in the offseason. He's a professional athlete and he's competitive, but like I said, maybe it's just kind of the ceiling of Trey Ford is just he is an athlete more than a quarterback. I would say as well as I think kind of as I said, the excuses have run out, so I don't want this to sound like an excuse, but when you look at his receiving core and you have guys that are technically their receiver 1 and 2s of like Stephen Dunbar Jr., Keon Julian Grant, Curly Giddens Jr., it's like kind of worried about like can those guys command like being a respected receiver 1 in the CFL? I don't think so. And then like he's just not a polished passer. So like I said, I would probably be concerned. I would maybe even come around to being concerned if I was an Elks fan.
Agree on the receiving core as far as like there's no definitive number one. Like, who's my guy? Who can I trust? Who can I throw the
Exactly.
ball to?
My God.
Exactly. Like, who's my guy? Like, win, lose, or draw, I can go to you in tight situations or in a long situation. He doesn't have that. And not knocking them, they're good receivers. But to say Stephen Dunbar is a number one, love Stephen, but I don't know. It's yours.
And I would say also that my other concern would be is like having a little bit of familiarity with like Jordan Maximic as an offensive coordinator. I'm concerned that like the Elks when they turned things around last year were like their bread and butter was running the football, play action, letting Trey Ford be an athlete. Where Jordan Maximic, you question at times like were similar to the Buck Pierce criticism, like Jordan Maximic would abandon the run at multiple times throughout the
Yes.
organization and would go away from it. If you're the Elks and your bread and butter was running the football, feeding Justin Rankin, feeding Javon Leak out of the backfield, setting up that play action, allowing Trey Ford to be better on play action, because that is when he's a better quarterback, is play action, shrinking the field, kind of giving him those half field reads, opposing to read the full field, getting him out of the pocket. Whereas like Jordan Maximic will probably just ask him to be a drop back passer and then kind of allow his athletic ability to take over. Is like probably not how you want to have Trey Ford operate an offense. And like I feel like just it's kind of like things that are just stacking against the Elks before they even kind of can get going here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to Ford to adapt, though, right? Like, you're never going to fall into a perfect system. You're going to have to adapt to different styles. You're going to have to adapt to different offenses. Like, that's what separates the good and average quarterbacks from the great quarterbacks is can you adjust? Like, this is, I know I talk a lot of smack around like Trevor Harris, but like Trevor Harris has had success with multiple different OCs and multiple different coaching staffs. Same thing, with Henry Burris and Ricky Ray and Calvillo. Like, when you are a great quarterback, Michael Riley was the same way. Like, you can succeed with different coaches and different coaching styles and different coaching schemes. Trey Ford needs to be able to adapt. Not every play style is going to fit a play action mobile quarterback. Now, do you need to adjust to your quarterback to a certain extent? Yes, but you can't just, especially if you're an OC, you can't just abandon what got you where you were either, right? That's where you got there based off of the offense that you've ran, and expecting you to just bail out of everything and come up with a whole new offense in 4 months is just unrealistic. So you're going to use a lot the way you're used to, and your quarterback needs to adjust. And I think Ford hasn't been able to adjust to that. He hasn't been able to adjust to a different style of play that he has had to do previously, and that's worked. And I think I mean, again, there's still time. It's only game one. I'm not going to say that the year's over for him, but there needs to be progress week over week. And maybe it was literally like, hey, it's a whole new system. I'm still adjusting to it. It happens. But you have to be willing to adapt as a quarterback. And if you can't adapt, you're going to be out the league.
I hate to say it, but maybe Trey's kind of just an exciting player versus a good or a great player. And that's just kind of the unfortunate side of things of maybe he is just a solid player. And I don't even think you could say he's a good player yet because of his inconsistencies. Like I said, he's an exciting player. He's going to have 4 or 5 plays that are great, wow type plays. They're going to CFL's going to play him over and over again. But it's as I said, the little things that the Elks being in, what were they last year, 7-11 or whatever their record was, of every year they're in 4, 5, 6 ball games that come down to the wire, come down to one possession, as most football games do. Of the stats show of, I don't know what the CFL is, but I know in the NFL most games come down to 1 possession game. I'm sure it's pretty similar in the CFL. The Elks have been in how many 1 possession games over the last number of years, and not all Trey Ford has been in there, but they've somehow found a way to lose those games. And I feel like a lot of the time it's hit the 5-yard hook on first down, opposed to trying to hit the 50-yard post, and then you're in 2nd and 10, and then you're kind of out of rhythm because you're not good in 2nd and long situations, opposed to be in 2nd and 5 where you're in a manageable situation where, heck, if your first read isn't there, you can pick it up with your feet, opposed to being in 2nd and 10 where you actually maybe have to make a guy or 2 miss to actually pick up a first down from 10 yards away. So Trey Ford, I'm still a fan of Trey Ford, but I feel like he's kind of leaning towards more of an exciting player than a great player.
Yeah, it just comes down to, can he control the game? Can he not necessarily, exciting plays are cool, they'll put asses in the seats, but will it win you games? No. That's the scary part. We all want to see, outside of Shane, see Trey be successful, but I don't know. I don't want to say he's not. It's not that he's not a good quarterback, but he's not living up to the Is he living up to the expectations of what the Elks have for him? That's the question. Not the fans, not the media, what the Elks' expectations are for him. Is he living up to that? We don't know.
Yeah, and I mean that's fair. We're not inside the rooms. We're not inside those conversations. We don't know what they're talking about. We don't know what their plan is, and where they have a progression chart for. I mean, most teams have progression charts for every player in some capacity, so we don't know where they have forwarded. But I think from an outside perspective, from a fan and a media perspective, we're results driven, right? Our conversations, our opinions are all should all be based on what has he done on the football field? What has he produced on the field? And he could be hitting all those progressions that the Elks want him to, but if that doesn't result to progression on the field and results on the field, the conversations will reflect that. And I think no one's wrong for that at the end of the day. I think you have to base if you're basing your conversations off of feelings, not facts, that's where you end up with a Sanchez having Trey Ford at number 8 on your top 50 list. Facts don't care about your feelings when it comes to sports.
He had him at 8?
Yeah, he had him at 8. He had him at 8.
What's he smoking? Because I need some of that shit.
Damn. I believe he's a Vancouver boy, coach, so it's some of that West Coast. It's good stuff.
Take your feelings out of it, partner. Put your feelings in your pocket. Your boy is not playing well right now.
JC Abbott, I'm pretty sure, had Pimpleton at 15, and I don't understand that one either. So yeah, facts over feelings. It's not hard, but when you get your feelings when you let your feelings get in the way, you start making irrational comments, and opinions are irrational because they don't fit what's presented to everyone. So that's my thought on Ford. And this is going to be the same one for everyone, right? And I think this is why it pissed me off with Bo Levi so much last year. And even with Betzel Thompson, is because those guys were producing quality start after quality start and giving their chances to win, but they were getting hit with they're 2-11, or he's only won one game in his last 5. He's put up 300 yards every game, put up 3 touchdowns. What more do you want from him? So don't cherry pick stats and look at everyone. Look at the entire picture, not just each individual corner.
Context is king,
especially in sports.
Mm-hmm.
But do you guys have anything else to add for this week's games?
No, should we get on to week 2? Should we pick? Let's get on to picks, boys.
Yeah, let's enter the picks. Hopefully I can rebound.
All right.
So it's that time again. It is the Royal Retros weekly pick'em. Cole and Blake, like we said at the top of the show, are first. They're tied with 4-0 records because they cheaped out and went with all the home teams last year because they're pansies like that. They don't like taking risks. Coach Phil is second at a 2-2 record, and I am last at 1-3. Which, hey, it is what it is. It happens. I will say all 3 games were close. Well, actually, that's not true. The Elks. Well, actually, no. All 4 games were relatively close heading into halftime. So it wasn't until the second half where things went to shit for me. So it's like, oh, yo, Hamilton's going to be a point away heading into halftime. Nope. They were down by 9. Cool. Edmonton was up against BC heading into halftime. We're like, all right, cool. You just got to do what you're doing, and you'll walk away with the win. Maybe I'll be 2-2. Hamilton. Like everyone was just outside of Toronto, and I picked Montreal, so I'm fine with that. But all 3 games were good heading into halftime, and then they just shot the bed. And I was like, all right, well, I guess this isn't my week.
You keep telling yourself that.
Hey. Almost came back to beat Saskatchewan there at the end.
It don't matter about almost. You lost.
Shane, what did we say about picking with our feelings or with facts?
I am stating facts here.
Every game was close. Shane.
Every game was close heading into halftime.
But Shane, how long is the game? 60-minute ball game.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Going into halftime, I was in a good spot in every game, and then shit hit the fan in the second half. I'm just like, all right, I guess this isn't my week. That's fine. But I will say, tale of 2 halves. Tale of 2 halves. But anyways,
you guys are both dads. You guys should know how to frickin' make things happen when shit's hitting the fan.
I mean, I can, but I'm not at the game. I can't control what happens at the game. I can't control what's happening at 10 o'clock Eastern when it's 7 o'clock Pacific. Yeah. Can't control trade forward. This isn't Madden. Can't hit restart when I throw a pick to someone who jumps 10 feet in the air.
Can't call timeout and tell them, what are you doing?
But yeah, let's get started. First game of the week, you got the BC Lions heading on to Winnipeg for their season opener. I'm going to take a wild guess here, and I'm going to assume that Cole is going to go BC, just so wild guess here, and that Coach Phil is this is going to be I'm going to just wild guess. It's a clean sweep for BC this week.
Coach?
Well, Cole, go first.
Yeah, I got BC for sure.
Keep it short.
I would say, just to keep it really short, I don't want to disrespect any professional athletes. You got to beat Chris Streveler. That's got to be a thing, especially with Nathan Rourke. As long as he's healthy, you got to beat Chris Streveler. He's under center, especially with Zach Claus coming back. I'm taking BC.
Ooh.
Coach, don't pick with your feelings.
I'm not picking with my feelings. I'm gonna state the facts on this one. I'm gonna trust Winnipeg on this one.
That's a shocker out of left field right there.
Gary gonna kill me back-to-back weeks, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna trust the run game. They're gonna control how many times Trevor throws the ball, and Willie's gonna have a big game.
I'm going BC. I agree with Cole here. With Streveler at quarterback, you got to beat him. And this is no disrespect to Streveler, but you haven't shown you can win. as a pocket quarterback. I don't know. I feel like if you're BC, this is a game you have to win.
Yeah, I'm absolutely coach. You're a defensive guy. I'm loading the box. I'm daring. I'm playing single
I'm
coverage all
forcing him
night.
to throw the ball.
Yeah,
Force him
I'm
to throw
playing.
the ball. Take the way you run completely.
I'm letting the DBs as unproven, I guess is maybe what you want to call it, as all of them are except for Gary Peters. Um, I'm letting Ronald Kent and Jalen Edwards Cooper be on an island with Dalton Schoen and Dembski. It's
Yeah.
obviously a big problem with Dembski, and Dembski's a very crafty individual with his corner routes, always be able to get separation. I'm curious to see with Jason Hogan being a new offense coordinator how much they kind of use him as like that Swiss Army knife in the backfield on the jet sweeps and stuff like that. How much they still get him involved there. But Dalton Schoen coming off the ACL as well, like as kind of like I saw with Hatch a little bit last year. I feel like you kind of like maybe aren't yourself until like halfway into that first year, even into that next year, where like you kind of start to feel a little bit better. I would think Sean maybe gets off to a little bit of a slower start. So like I said, I'm leaving Ronald Kent, Jalen Edwards Cooper, who are both as I said unproven defensive backs. First time Jalen Edwards Cooper's played actually in the half. He played corner for most of his career in the CFL. Moved into the half this year. Ronald Kent's second year in the CFL. He was first year last year with the Lions. I'm letting those guys be on islands and absolutely load the box. I know Nick Kowalski mentioned it on the First and Now podcast. The last time Schudler started with Brady Oliveira, I think it was like 44 carries or something like that that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers had. So I'm kind of expecting that, but prepared for it as well. I think the Lions could win in a shootout either way as well. Like we'll just outscore you.
I'm
I think.
expecting.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'm expecting Winnipeg's offensive line to move. I'm expecting them to make holes. I'm expecting them to protect Strebler a little more. I know it's a different. I'm wondering if it's going to be a different blocking scheme or if it's going to stay the same like what they've been doing. I know that Buck ain't there no more, but it's probably something new. And you just can't bet against that offensive line, man. You just can't. Grey Cups maybe, but regular season,
I think you shell out to stop the run. If Strebler beats you and he puts up like 350 yards, and sure, I think you kind of just like, all right, but you can't let Brady beat you. You have to shell out to stop Brady and force Strebler to throw. I think honestly, if you get one or two interceptions on Strebler and you can get a lead, you're good. You're good. If BC can get to like a 10-0, 14-0 lead early, I think they're good. I think this is a game where if you have to force Strebler to throw the ball, you'll win.
Do not throw to Gary Peters. Do not throw Gary Peters fucking way.
Throw it. Throw it to Gary Peters.
I don't know if you guys saw it. He had 3 targets last week, 2 for PBUs. He did give up 1 catch for -7 yards. The 1 catch was with about 40 seconds left, so it was garbage time. I repeat, folks, Gary Peters is still a bad
Throw it to Gary Peters.
man.
He's a bad man.
Throw it to Gary Peters. Pick on Gary Peters if you have to, because he will bring it home. He will pick. If there's one DB in this league outside of Milligan, and like I'm talking about a true DB, not like a corner linebacker, like a true DB that terrifies me in his ability to take interceptions back for a touchdown, it's Gary Peters. If he can get his hands on it, he will bring it home. But he will do his best to bring it home. And I think for Strebler, if you throw one pick, if you can throw one pick six early in the game, the entire game plan gets thrown out, and they're going to try to force Brady, and that's how you're going to win.
My last thing that I asked you guys about this game would be like, how do you guys think about like the familiarity between Buck and obviously like O'Shea and the whole organization of like, there's obviously some familiarity. So I'm at in short week for the Lions, right? Where like Winnipeg's been preparing for since the preseason ended. So I'm interested to see kind of who gets the upper hand in terms of that chess matchup of like, I'm sure there's been a lot of preparation of is it Jordan Younger, the defense coordinator in Winnipeg, of like, kind of expecting what Buck maybe is going to come out with versus like what Buck maybe expects Winnipeg to kind of try to do defensively to try to shut him down. So I'm kind of curious to see who gets the upper hand in that one. And obviously for Winnipeg, you're kind of without your guy Zach Claro, so you're maybe waiting for week 3 matchup as well.
One thing I've learned is that it doesn't matter if the defense knows what you're doing or who you're throwing, they still have to stop it.
Exactly.
And that offense has the weapons that you could tell them exactly where you're going and what your play is, and they will still beat you. So I don't think familiarity actually plays that big of a play in this one, because I think guys like Nathan Rourke and James Butler will be the difference maker. They don't care. I mean, that's one thing that was always told to me when I was playing football was like, it should not matter if the defense knows exactly where you're going. They still need to stop you.
I think it benefits the offense though, because like as an offense, you know what you're doing versus a defense, you're reacting off of everything, right?
Right. You're at a disadvantage.
Which is exactly. So like he can be like, oh, this is what they ran in Winnipeg. You don't know what they're calling any single play. And any good OC and every good head coach, you should be able to run the same play out of 5 different formations.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they throw three receivers and they do a split back or whatever, like they should be able to run the same play out of 5 different formations. So I don't know, I feel like it's gonna be a storyline and people are gonna talk about it, and it's even gonna be talked about more so if BC loses. But I don't know. I don't think it really matters at the end of the day.
Every offense has their 5 core plays, bread and butter, as Shane said. 5 formations, 3-4 formations that you can run out of them and just nail it out of them. And then you have your specialty plays. You have your plays that you can go out of in your openers. Once you're done with your openers, you go to your other. You go deep in the playbook, not too deep, but whoever can nail those core plays, they're gonna win the game.
Yeah.
Game number 2.
So we got 3 for BC because Blake is picking BC, obviously.
Of course.
Heading into game number 2, the Friday Night Football. Ottawa's home opener, where Montreal is coming to town. They're looking for their first win at home against Montreal since 2018, and their first win against Montreal in 10 games. So some major losing streaks going on with Ottawa against Montreal. It's the third time these teams are seeing each other since training camp, because they saw each other for both the preseason games. Coach, I'm going to start off with you because Cole has to take a quick step out. Who do you have, and why are you picking them?
I'm gonna go with Ottawa. On this one, shockingly. I think Ottawa's got a chance. They're at home. They know even though opportunity to make some noise, make something happen. That's what I'm looking at. I see that they're so strong inside the box when they want to be defensively that they can make some plays and cause some pressure on Davis Alexander and just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I not having Drew Brown kind of sucks. I'm very interested to see what Schultz can do. Mm-hmm. He's been a starter in the league before. He started for Montreal. See if they have a rebound game. Pimpleton only had 1 reception. I think only had 1 target last game. So they're going to want to get him more involved. They're going to want to get Stanback more involved. And they're going to want to show up for their home stand, right? They're 7-1-1 last year at home. They're going to want to continue it. And I mean, against a division rival, you can get, tied up heading into week 3. I have Ottawa in this one. Cole, who do you got and why? You are on mute, my good sir.
Sorry, boys. Was that 2 Ottawas I just heard?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you're going Montreal here.
Yeah, I am. I definitely am. As I said at the beginning, still high on Ottawa. I just think without Drew Brown, it's going to be a little bit of a tougher battle this week, especially against Montreal's defense. If it was maybe a different team, I think I would probably come around to I think Ottawa could have an opportunity at this game, especially being at home, their home opener. But Montreal definitely, I feel like I was on the train last year. I'm going to keep picking them until they prove me wrong. So I'm going to continue to just ride with Montreal, and we'll try to stay undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, and then Blake is also going Montreal. So I have a feeling that you and Blake are going to be tag teaming a lot of these together. But heading into the next game is these Calgary Stampeders are heading to Toronto for the Toronto home opener. This one is kind of a toss-up. I think this game, I don't expect VA to put it back-to-back garbage games. I expect him to be a lot better. I'm going with Calgary here because I really don't like what I've seen out of Toronto, and I don't think Arbuckle is the answer. And this defense looks really good. Like that defense looks hungry. Like Bo Levi had a lot of garbage time stats, so to speak. But I don't know. I think Calgary against Toronto this week. I just don't like what I've seen out of Toronto so far.
I'm shook that Vernon Adams' #1 fan went with the Argos. I am really surprised, honestly, that Blake took the Argos, but that means we get an opportunity here to go against each other. So I'll take the Stamps all day for sure.
I'm picking the Stamps. Cut and dry.
As you should see, I just don't think VA will have another bad game. I think if their defense can play as good, as I said, I wasn't really able to watch this game. This was kind of around the time 4:00 when I was getting to the stadium, and then was trying to pay attention to it, but was mostly kind of just running around. So if their defense looked as good as you were saying, Shane, and their offense, I feel like has a better game. Where like Clark Barnes was kind of the only receiver that had a good day, opposed to some of their new weapons. Reggie Begelton actually had a pretty good game as well. I know he was targeted quite a bit as well, but like Rhymes, he had the touchdown call back. He had the offensive pass interference that he could have had a touchdown. So he was a little bit more quiet. I think Jalen was a little bit more quiet on the day as well. So I expect that offense to Dietrich Mills obviously popped off with the hat trick. So I think he'll thrive in that offense with the weapons kind of being able to take a lot of the attention of that, the back 8 or whatever it is, and then get a lot of, good looks in terms of the front 7 that he's going against. So I think the Stampeders will be able to have a better game offensively, and then if their defense is able to do their thing, I think they'll be able to get a win. Where's this game, Shane?
It's in Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto's home opener.
He's just gonna have to go for 122 tubs. That's about it. I because Calgary's offense has all these weapons. It's a sexy offense when they start clicking. When they're down the line, it's going to be sexy to watch. But he's going to feed off of them having to man up at some point in time, and he's going to feed off of it.
Question back to you guys? Is it an easy answer if I asked you guys who's the better team in Alberta right now?
Ugh, that's a tough one.
It's Calgary. It's not even close.
I think it's Calgary too. I was just like actually genuinely asking that question of like if you guys kind of think it's a conversation, because like going into the season, obviously I predicted Edmonton to be 4th and Edmonton to finish 4th, Calgary to finish 5th. Whereas like after I got a little bit of like the week 1, and like I said, maybe we're overreacting because it's week 1 and this is the first football we've talked about, the actual football in a long time. So who knows what might happen, later in the season.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I just feel
sure.
like I got a bad taste out of Edmonton.
I don't know. I feel like Edmonton has so much more to prove. Like there's so much more to prove for Edmonton that, like, yes, on paper they look like they should be better with all their fancy toys and all their new pieces and all their fancy, like, flashy parts. But you still have to go out there and win a game. And
I trust VA more too.
Well, exactly. Like I think honestly, if you put VA in Edmonton, that's a Grey Cup caliber team in my opinion. I am so down on Ford, and I'll take VA over Ford any day.
For sure.
So
last game.
I feel like we're all going the same direction here. Saskatchewan going to Scamilton for the Hamilton's home opener. I think we're all riding green on this one. I feel like I can say that with confidence that we're all riding green. I was wrong the last time I said we were all riding orange because Coach decided to flip the script on me a little bit and go blue. But I feel like we're all riding green on this one, right?
We are.
I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory as to why we're picking Saskatchewan to win over Hamilton.
Coach, you have talked about it a few times though. Like, how are you feeling about kind of the injuries piling up in Saskatchewan?
It's tough. It's tough to see this, especially. But it's better to have injuries early on than down the stretch and before you get into the playoffs. Injuries in general, they suck. You don't want them, but timing is everything. Hey, get better. Get better down the stretch.
You guys got, when's your first bye week? Is it coming up or is it later? Do you know?
I think it's later.
waiting. That's a good thing too.
I will say, according to the injury report today, AJ Ouellette was a full participant, which is good, and Roland Milligan was a full participant,
Good.
which is good. So
Was it
hopefully,
both head injuries?
AJ was head and Milligan was head. Unfortunately, Thomas Bertrand Houdin did not participate with a groin injury. So we'll see. But at least as of right now, it looks like Milligan and Ouellette should be ready to go for this game. So
good thing.
Bittersweet moment, right? You lose them for the game, you still get the win, and now it sounds like they should be back for week 2. So I don't know. They're gonna ride Ouellette and Carey as a backfield if Houdin was down. Because I think everyone when they signed Carey was expecting Ouellette to be out long term, but maybe Bertrand Houdin is the one that's going to be out long term, given what's on the injury report.
Tore up his groin pretty good.
Yeah, I mean groins aren't easy, that's for sure. And yeah, he was limited yesterday and then did not participate today. So I'm assuming it's because he's not going to play.
Setback or something maybe.
Yeah.
Side note, this kind of a little off topic though, but it's with injury related, kind of just different teams. I know, I believe it was Shinetti that reported, right? That was it. McManus didn't practice today. It looked like it was a groin almost injury too in the game. Like I saw him, he was tracking down. I forget who he was trying to track down, but it kind of looked like he almost just like pulled the groin where he was surrounding him, and then kind of get like
I have it here. I have it pulled up because I saw Ben Grant's tweet. He's knee. He's second day is limited. So
strain or something.
Yeah, the only player that's DNP is Sirocco with his foot injury.
Interesting.
So hopefully we see some of these injuries aren't too serious. I know Ottawa has already lost one player. Hopefully we don't see many more heading into week 2. But yeah, man, I'm excited for week 2 to happen. I think it's gonna be a big one.
Are you gonna be in the house this week or what?
I'm gonna be in that TD place. So I think I'm gonna try to run into Stuart Johnson because I think he's expected to be in Ottawa this week. So I'm gonna try to run into him. I saw that you ran into him on
Saturday.
The BC home game on Saturday. So hoping to run into him this week, but we'll see. I ran into Randy Ambrosi during one of the games a couple of years ago, so I'm kind of hoping to just run into Johnston on Friday night. But I'm annoyed it's a 7:30 start. I hate 7:30 starts.
Yeah, it's so late. That's so weird to me.
It's so late.
I'm glad that Lions have kind of adapted to the 4 o'clock starts. It's like really nice, but obviously a few of them are 7. But Coach, when are you going to be back up here? When are you going to a first game this year?
I'm looking at in July. That's my goal. End
Where
of
are you
the school
going?
year. I'm gonna head east, man. I'm gonna try and get to either an Ottawa game or a Montreal game in July.
Oh, really? Montreal will be sick. That's where I want to go.
I need to hit
there. It's a horrible stadium.
I know. I've heard. I know.
Just letting you know.
I've heard.
It looks so cool on TV though.
It's beautiful in terms of like the surrounding area, but the actual stadium, you're so far from everything because there's the track that separates the field from the stands.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's annoying. I hate it. Like them and BMO are I hate them. Hate BMO.
BMO was cool. I like BMO. It's so small, but it's good. Pretty cool.
I've been there like twice and I hated both of it. I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of out of the way and like just an ugly situation, like ugly scenario, and I don't know. I don't like BMO that much.
It is out of the way.
I mean, TD Place isn't the greatest, but it's better than Montreal, that's for sure.
But it's home, hey Shane?
It's home. There's more history. There's more history in Ottawa when it comes to the CFL than there is in Montreal. So I'm just putting that out.
I don't want to do this to you guys because obviously I'm the Lions fan, so I feel like I'm kind of trying to be the homer here. But have you guys Either of you guys watched Arrow Up yet?
Not yet. No, I want to.
I
I've
gotta
been
get
so busy
to it.
with work. There's been
It's
like
really
so much
good.
shit at work right now that I really haven't had much time outside of a couple hours a week.
Every year it's been pretty good, but like this year they did a really good job, like behind the scenes of like in the meeting rooms again a couple times and stuff. Just some really cool stuff for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it when it, like the off-season stuff with Mackie and whatnot, so I was excited to
Yeah.
see what they were doing again. I just haven't had a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
Same old stuff.
Well, guys, this wraps up the week 2 episode of the CFL Weekly Show. I wish Blake was here for the one week. We're gonna have all 4 of us here from start to finish. Coach just went MIA on us last week.
I had no signal in the weight room. I'm sorry.
he's
Public
he's
school.
helping,
Didn't say
he's helping
nothing.
the next generation.
Well, that's fine. Well, hopefully next week we'll have all 4 of us here together for the entire hour and a half show. But yeah, hopefully this week's another good round of games starting on Thursday with BC and Winnipeg. Yes, we know you're 40 years old, Cole. We know it. But yeah,
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, clearly. With your tie-dye shirt, where are you living in the 80s again?
You like that? I did this myself too. Like it?
I like it.
Just got bored one day and said, "Screw it, I'm gonna tie-dye a $40 T-shirt."
Yeah, literally. It was summertime one time. I was like, man, I want to kind of tie-dye. I tied-dyed a pair of Nike socks too.
What type of Nike socks? Were they like the Nike Elite socks?
Nike Elite socks.
He took it back.
$20 pair of socks and a $40 T-shirt getting tie-dyed.
That
Most
is
tie-dye job you'll ever have.
That is, but that is a big if you know, you know. I'm glad you mentioned, or I'm glad you asked was it Elite socks or just regular Nike socks? Because most kids today wouldn't know.
Man,
Elite socks were the thing. You wore those to school back in the day, or at least I did, anyways.
Yeah,
I worked in the middle of the craze of Nike Elite, Nike Tech Fleece. Like I was in the middle, like working in the middle of that craze. Like the fall off of it is ridiculous. Like I don't understand what happened. Like they were like up, and then like 2019, 2020, or I would say like 2021, it just dropped.
I think they were too big. That's why they were too big that people were like, I don't want to do it anymore.
They also they were expensive. You're like paying like $22 for a pair of socks.
That too. Well, I think that is probably honestly the thing, because actually, like when I did get older, of like, man, I'm buying a 3-pack for $20 opposed to a 1-pack for $20, man. Like that's just doesn't make sense.
Again, Nike Elite socks are basketball socks. They're not fashion socks.
But we made them fashion.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Talk to him, coach. Talk to him.
Like, come on, people were feeding for them here in Washington. Everybody had them. God damn, what a time, man!
Elite socks with like the Nike slides, and oh man,
it was the dad slippers and people were throwing them word here.
See, we had at work we had a green and a red pair and come in right before Christmas. So like my like 18-year-old self was like, "Bet I'm gonna buy both," and I got Christmas socks. I'm set. That's what I had for like 5 years. Just have my red and green socks.
Please tell me y'all didn't wear the puka shells too.
No, I didn't.
No, I mean I didn't touch most of it because like it didn't really fit me that well, and I wasn't dealing with the cost because like I'm not paying $200 for a jacket and a pair of pants that you wash incorrectly one time you won't be able to wear ever again. But
too expensive.
Yeah, but I also think the shirt that you're wearing was like $45 when it came out.
Nah,
like
no. This
it was like 40 or like 35, something like that.
It was probably something like that, yeah. But I don't know. It looked like a cool option. I was like, man, have you ever seen a Jordan shirt tie-dyed before?
Hey,
hell no.
They might come after you.
Yes, they will.
Maybe.
But
Jordan
and Nike have fallen off hard over the last like 5 years. Like COVID hit and like all that stuff has fallen off.
Well,
it's still expensive.
It's the rise of the brands though too. Like New Balance has kind of popped, and Reebok and all those other stuff have kind of like I feel like come onto the scene a little bit more. Reebok I know is prominent like back in the early 2000s, like Shaq AI and stuff like that. But
Those
Like those
pumps.
kind of brands coming back to life again helps.
Coach, did you have a pair of the pumps?
I was a Nike guy all the way through, but I had the AIs, the answers.
I got a pair of questions in the closet right now. I still got them.
They're just fire to wear. It's with a nice little fit, stepping out, it hits you.
I was a big AI guy. I was that little white kid that wanted the cornrows back in the day.
And that's gonna be the end of the show right there because I can't even.
To be fair, I can definitely see Cole, like 15-year-old Cole, like going into a barber being like, I want these, and people just look at him like he's.
I want the Dookie braids.
Did you guys ever did Shane, like, I don't know if you were a big hooper or not, but I played basketball growing up. I don't know if you ever remember, like, you go to Walmart and you can get like the NBA shooting sleeves and you get like NBA.
Oh God, shit! Please, Cole, tell me you didn't do that.
Oh, buddy, I used to go rock the one shooting sleeve to school or whatever, and be like, man, one day I'm gonna get corn. I'm telling you guys, this is a real story. I used to be like, oh, one day I'm gonna have cornrows. When I'm older, when I get longer hair, I'm gonna have cornrows, and never did.
You just don't have the hair for it.
I was the guy hooping in a Shaq jersey because why not? Why not? This is iconic.
Only you, Shane. Only you.
Hey man, I almost got kicked off of a basketball team because I was too aggressive. No easy points when you come into my paint. Okay, number one rule: no easy points. So yeah,
you one of those. You one of those.
Hey man, you're gonna come in. You want 2 points. You're gonna have to earn it. Not my fault.
Shane's
You're
using
like
all his fouls.
100%.
10 seconds of the game, foul.
Setting the tone.
I'm pulling a Kobe in the 2008 Olympics when he went through Gasol's chest against Spain. That was me every time.
That's Kobe. RP. That's Kobe. You ain't Kobe.
Well, no, I wasn't good enough to rock Kobe. Okay, I just. So I rocked Shaq. I rocked the Miami Shaq. My skill was comparable to Miami Shaq, so I rocked the Miami Shaq.
He says he's on the downside.
You never been a big free throw shooter then, eh, Shane?
Nope.
Oh my Lord.
No, but I would hit a crazy shot every once in a while. And people be like, "Where the hell did this come from?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I will get you steals, I will get you blocks, and I'll get you fouls.
We should do a game of we do it.
But you ain't getting points, and you'll get.
That's what we need to do. We need to do a game of 21. All four of us put it on.
Oh, that'd be epic.
That'd be so much fun.
I feel like not to Blake not being here to defend himself. I got money on Blake being the worst out of the four of us.
Yes, I'll put 20 on it.
Yeah, probably.
Me and Shane gonna fight though. We just gonna squabble. I'm not even gonna hold you. Bro, we're gonna fight.
That's fine. I'm fully fine with it. If go toe to toe in the paint, play 2-on-2, go toe and toe.
I'm throwing bows. I'm throwing bows. When I drop step, boom, bow.
I'm giving you a couple of quick elbows, go around you, give you some spins.
All right, that's fine. And I'm gonna
spin cycle a couple times.
Nah. Blake, everybody, you know what? We're gonna do it.
Let's do one-on-one. Let's do one-on-one for charity.
Time and place, boys. Time and place.
Vancouver sounds good to me.
Grey Cup. We'll find a gym in Winnipeg.
Oh
There'll
Lord.
Be a YMCA or something out there.
Yeah, and get robbed.
All right, boys. Is that another week of the show?
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
It. That's it.
That's what I'm talking
Hopefully
about.
People stay for these end credits because it's like when Disney had bloopers at the end of their movies.
Yeah.
This is the best part.
Exactly. Cold shirt, basketball, the whole nine.
You always got to stay in your seat. You can't leave the theater.
Exactly. No. It's like Marvel, right?
Exactly.
Just because you got like 10 minutes of credits doesn't mean you got to leave because there's going to be an end credit scene. I mean, end credit scene is like 2 minutes for a movie that's going to come out in like 10 years and you're going to forget about it.
Shane, can you fight?
Yeah, I can fight.
Oh, I'm talking about actually like square up, like fight.
Yeah. I've done martial arts. I can throw something.
I ain't ask all that. I said, can you just square up?
Yeah.
That's punk shit. Can you motherfucking put some gloves on? Can we throw bows?
If you want to spar, I'm down to spar.
I'm down to spar.
I'm down to get into a ring. We'll make a boxing match.
See, this is the content that we need to make.
I'll video.
Cole, you ain't shit.
I said I'll video.
I'll definitely go. We'll do like a 5-round, like 2-minute round.
Whoa! I didn't say all that. I'm saying 3 rounds. 3 rounds. That's it.
Okay. What's the time frame? 2 minutes or 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
I bet I'll knock you out in 5. Get you through the first round just to make you feel better, and then
Motherfucker, I'll bob and weave. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll just bob you on the top of your head. Like a whack-a-mole.
Pause.
Hey, Dad.
No.
How tall are you, Coach?
6 foot on a good day.
Oh yeah, just like a whack-a-mole.
No. How tall are you?
6'3.5", 6'4"
Oh,
on a good day.
I'm going for your chin. I'm taking that chin. Pause.
I will say Shane was actually much taller than I expected when we met in person for sure.
Yeah, like 6'3", 6'4" on a good day.
You gonna come bald headed?
No, I'm gonna grow it out. I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
What they want you want to think you're a skinhead?
Your words, not mine.
Time to go.
Yeah, we're getting a little PG, past PG-13. That's R-rated.
It's 14A. In the States, it'd be R-rated, but in Canada, it's 14A.
Y'all got a whole different rating system down.
No, you guys rate things more strict than we do. Like your rated R movies are usually like 18 plus for us, and like we're usually one below you because you guys are sensitive down there and don't like.
Don't say me. Don't say me. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what? I'm gonna shut up. I was gonna incriminate myself.
I wasn't saying you. I was just generalizing.
Coach likes coming to Canada.
I love it. Love every second.
Yeah, give me a time and a place, and we'll throw down. Throw on some
Great
gloves.
cut.
I got gloves. I got gloves in my closet.
I gotta inspect your gloves. No. I want to inspect your gloves.
Oh, hey, that's fine. You can inspect them. They're stock gloves. They're just.
I don't care.
They're like 16.
Okay, that's fine. All right. I'm still gonna get that shit though.
I mean, I can box and less. Like we can go MMA if you want. Go bare
Why
knuckles.
why y'all gotta go MMA? I'm not. Look, we both dads.
I'm just
We
saying.
ain't got the conditioning for all that now. All that fall on the ground and all that shit. No.
I'm just saying we could wear like the MMA gloves if you want. If you feel more comfortable with that.
Nah, I'm good.
Super padded boxing gloves.
Look. I'll take you. I'll take Cole. We gonna let Blake cry. That's about it.
That sounds about right.
I want to see you and Blake go at it though, Cole. Y'all so tight. I want to see y'all go at it.
Oh, I don't know if I could hit Blake.
Why not? I could, but I would cry too. Because
Well,
Blake
I could, but just his face.
He's got a no homo. He's got a cute face. He just.
I would love to hit him sometimes, but then I'd feel bad. Blake's he's a sensitive boy, you know.
He's a sensitive one.
We gotta keep him, you know. We gotta coddle him.
If this was a boy group like a Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, he'd have all the ladies because he's the sensitive, sweet one.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Your words, not mine.
Let's get out of here.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the end credit scene. That was great. Part 2. See if we get over here now. If you like the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, share the video, hit put on notifications so you don't miss any of this hilarious content. And yeah, we'll see you back here next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next week.